Just an unbelievable sports moment. We bring on PK Subban, of course, who was a gold medal winner for Canada in 2014 in Sochi. PK, you watched this. You played with Jack Hughes for 3 years with the Devils. He scored the game winner, and it's going to be replayed until the end of the time in this country. What's the best way to describe that moment for USA?
Well, oftentimes when I come on shows, we talk about other athletes and we talk about the size of the dog in the fight. Well, with Jack, it's not about that for me. It's about the dog in the fight. And this guy is Michigan made. All right, he's the Michigan man. He's as real as it comes. When the game gets tough, that's when Jack gets his best. And not only does he want to play and win, he wants the big moments. You could see it on his face. You could see it over the tournament, the course of the tournament. But to me, it's about brotherhood. And it starts with Jack Hughes. I go back to it. I'm so proud of him. I go back to his rookie season. I had him as a rookie, and I watched this guy fight and grind. I watch him go through ups and downs. But I'm going to tell you, we watching this tournament, people talk about Jack Hughes being a pretty boy. Oh, Jack, he's got the blue eyes and the Goldilocks. No teeth, no problem. Like a hockey player does, puts his country on his back in the key times and delivers a miracle, not just for America, but for the game of hockey. So hats off to Jack Hughes, the whole Hughes family. This is a family affair. The whole Hughes family, Mama Hughes being involved in the USA program on the women's side, Dad Hughes being involved. It's a family affair, but Jack Hughes can't say enough great things about him.
PK, you won obviously in 2014 with Canada. Canada has had control of this rivalry in the last couple decades. What did capturing gold signify for the United States moving forward in the world of hockey?
USA has arrived. That's the statement. The golden age of U.S. hockey has officially commenced. Make no doubt about it, this is a huge moment for USA Hockey. It's a huge moment for the National Hockey League with both players, both teams, all their players playing in the National Hockey League. The growth, though, of Hockey USA, and that's what I got to talk about. I said it before, the Hughes family, their involvement in Hockey USA, the Kachucks, Eichels, the Fitzgeralds, it's a family affair. You listen to them talk about brotherhood. Well, it is a brotherhood there. They've invested in their kids. They've invested in that program, and now they're getting the benefits of it. So the golden age for Hockey USA is here, and like I said, it's a miracle for the game. It's a miracle for the USA.
Miracle is a very interesting word when we're talking about this squad. PK, you are the man we appreciate. We're going to get back to you. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, Jack Hughes, the golden gold hero, was lifted onto his teammates' shoulders and carried through the streets of Milan as the United States men's national ice hockey team celebrated their first gold medal since the Miracle on Ice squad in 1980. Hughes beamed with an unforgettable smile, missing teeth and all. It was an amazing, amazing day of hockey for fans of the United States and for that team. Not so if you were a fan of Canada hockey. Despite outshooting the USA 42-28, Canada lost their first gold medal final since 1994. After the game, speaking to the Canadian press, Canada forward Nathan MacKinnon said about the game, quote, "You be the judge of who was the better team today," end quote. Ooh, a whole vineyard of sour grapes there from Nathan MacKinnon, if you ask me, in my red, white, and blue tie here. But is he right? PK Subban, did Canada outplay the United States yesterday?
Well, there's no question Canada dominated for, I would probably say, a majority part of the game. But can I be honest with you? It doesn't matter. When does this all of a sudden matter? There's winning and there's losing. When you win, you get to celebrate being a winner. When you lose, you got to lick your wounds and get off the mat and do it again when you get a chance. So to me, Team Canada, I look at all my experiences with Team Canada and the leaders that I've seen. And Nathan MacKinnon, obviously, there's a lot of frustration after that game. The players are emotional, and I get it. I understand what it is to be there. But, one thing that's consistent about being Canadian is we've always been professional. We've always held the game in high regard, and I think that's why we've been recognized as the powerhouse of hockey. So, when I think of the greats and Wayne Gretzky and Sidney Crosby and all these guys and what they represent, Nathan MacKinnon as well, McDavid, that's what they represent, is about the game. So today is the USA's day. Canada will have their day again at some point in time, but today's not that day. Today is for the USA, and this is a big moment for USA hockey. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. This is a miracle for the USA and a miracle for the game. I mean, you can't put any more emphasis on the impact that this is going to have in hockey for generations to come.
You throw that term miracle around, and it's got such connotations to that 1980 squad. 46 years to the day. And if you think about who was the real star of the game, it might have been the guy in between the pipes. Connor Hellebuyck, who has won 3 Vezina trophies as the best goalie in all of hockey, yet has not had that Stanley Cup moment, played out of his mind yesterday. What was that performance? And I guess, how come it was so significant to you, PK?
Well, you know what? He's a Vezina Trophy winner. He's played long playoff runs. But to me, this was his coming out party. You know, take all the personal accolades and park them. It's the game within the game. These are the moments that you got to show up when it's best and best. Every player plays in the National Hockey League. Every player dreamt about that moment, but his dream came true in a major way. Individually with his performance and winning one of the biggest games in hockey history, in U.S. hockey history, in the game's history, ever, by putting on one of the best goaltending performances I've ever personally seen. It was pretty remarkable what he accomplished yesterday for the country and for the game.
41 saves on 42 shots. PK, you're pretty remarkable, too. We're going to get to you more in a little bit. In my short time with the show, this is the first hockey sneaky Hembo question. All right. Connor Hellebuyck is one of 2 U.S.-born goalies to win multiple Vezinas in the last 80 years. PK Subban, who is the other?
Well, I think of 3 goaltenders. I'm going to go Jonathan Quick, Tim Thomas, Ryan Miller. Those would be the 3 that I'd recognize. Quickie's got a couple cups. I hate to I don't want to pick him, but I think it's him. I got to go with Tim Thomas because he's got 2 cups, and I know he was pretty good in that short stint, so I'm going to go with Timmy Thomas.
The correct answer is Boston Bruin goalie Tim Thomas.
Boom!
The Boston Bruin is right, and PK Subban is correct.
Exactly. Yep.
Wow, that is impressive. I was thinking Mike
Dialed
Richter.
right in.
That was well done.
Dialed right in.
Well done, PK.
Thanks to Google. Thanks to Google.
Thanks to Google. Great. That's good. We like that. We like cheating. That's good.
And when you think about it, Team Canada for a gold medal, unbelievable. Remarkable performance. Can't say enough good things. He stole this game. Make no doubt about it, folks. He stole this game, but he did it with his team. And, to me, that's the biggest takeaway from all of this, Connor Hellebuyck included. They talk about their brotherhood. They talk about the program. But Connor Hellebuyck took his game to another level. Best goaltending performance I've seen in a long time. Best game of his life. No question. Best game he's ever played. He was unbelievable.
Wow.
He really was.
Best game of his life. That's a guy who's won best goalie 3 different times in the NHL. PK,
yeah.
You won the gold medal in 2014 in Sochi with Team Canada, one of the great dominant performances that squad had. And yet the USA this morning are champions. Capturing gold signifies what for U.S. hockey moving forward?
Oh, it's the golden age for U.S. hockey. They are here. They have arrived. And what this means is that it's no longer just Team Canada's game and Canada's game. USA has to be considered in that mix, and they've earned it. They didn't do it by one player and just it being Jack Hughes. It was done by committee. Starts with family, brotherhood. We look at the Hughes family, the Kachucks, Eichel, the Fitzgeralds, everybody that had their hands involved in this, had their fingerprints all over the USA hockey program, and that extends to the women's side as well. So they invested in their kids, they invested in the program in the country, and now it's paying off dividends. And it looks good for a long time. So the U.S. program is here. USA hockey couldn't be in a better position moving forward, and the game of hockey couldn't be in a better position moving forward. So this is really a miracle for the game and for the USA.
And the word miracle is a key word in this country when it comes to hockey. First time they've won the gold in 46 years since the Mike Eruzione team of 1980 and the Miracle Squad. Go on, PK, what do you got?
And to say this on the broadcast, 46 years to date was the anniversary on Sunday. So, Jack Hughes, this is just a special moment, it all coming together. Can you imagine being a kid growing up dreaming about winning a gold medal? Like Jack Hughes, he wasn't even a thought in 1980. So for him to be able to relive this, live this with his brother, with his family in today's game is a special moment. It's really remarkable for him.
There was a real family feel to it between the Hughes brothers, the Tkachuk brothers, and then, of course, that Gaudreau jersey being fun.
Yes.
I get chills here. I know I'm wearing this red, white, and blue tie. I think it's okay to say this was one of the best stories we've had in the Olympics and maybe in Olympic history. Exactly 46 years ago to the date, the USA men's hockey team had its greatest moment, upsetting the Soviet Union en route to the gold medal. Flash forward to Sunday, and that 46-year drought was finally over as this year's U.S. team, with a gritty, heroic performance, prevailed 2-1 in overtime over Team Canada in Milan. The win was defined by 3 indelible images. Each one will be etched in our collective minds forever. First was Jack Hughes, spitting blood and flashing a gap-toothed grin after taking a high stick to the grill, only to bury the golden goal moments later. The blood dripping, the lack of hesitation, the utter nonchalance about it, the ability to simply keep on going until the job was done. It was grit, it was determination, and it was toughness. It was all the things we teach our kids in one gnarly visual. The second was Connor Hellebuyck. He stood on his head. He did it all day, making 41 saves, a men's gold medal game record. And none more impossible than his third period save that defied physics and kept the American dream alive. Your biggest moment on the biggest of stages, coming through and being the very best in the world. When being the very best in the world was required, he delivered. And that save is one of the greatest in USA hockey history. But it was the third image that will stick with us the longest. Moments after seizing the gold, the USA team hoisting Johnny Gaudreau's number 13 jersey high to the sky is what team sports is all about. In that moment, it wasn't just about gold medals or beating the longtime rivals. In that moment, it was about friendship. It was about family. It was about brotherhood. It was the perfect tribute to a fallen mate. Gaudreau, as we learned throughout the last 2 weeks, was as much a part of this team as anyone wearing the U.S. sweater on the ice Sunday. He was with them. And that image will be forever with us. What was your reaction to that touching moment honoring Johnny Hockey?
Truly special. Meredith Gaudreau and the whole Gaudreau family has been so strong through this whole process, but I have to give major flowers and props to the National Hockey League, Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, everybody, and what they've done to rally around not only the Columbus Blue Jackets, but the whole Gaudreau family and all the players that touched Johnny. I couldn't help but rethink the moments that I shared with Johnny personally at All-Star games playing against him. In that moment, you have to feel connected to what they're doing with that USA hockey program. And, to be honest with you, anybody who's a human and saw that yesterday was probably in tears. So it's a special moment, but it just shows how powerful the game is and how powerful that moment was in terms of bringing people together. And once again, that's why I believe we have the best game in the world.
And I think that's why yesterday's game meant so much. For a moment there, the entire U.S. fan base was together and united. And then you see the Gaudreau moment, and it's hard not to shed a tear. A special, special moment. Look, let's spin it forward here, because you've already said that U.S. hockey is now entering its golden age. Between the thrill of the four nations, between the Olympics, are we watching this rivalry of USA-Canada at its very zenith right now?
Well, the rivalry is on. It's very, very much on. And let's be real. The USA had to win this for the rivalry to be where it's at now. And it's there now. And what USA proved is that if there's a mountain, they're sitting at the top of it. But there's room at the top of it for that mountain. It's up to USA to stay there. It's up to them to continue to develop in their program. And they've built an infrastructure that shows that they're going to be great for a long time. But there's no question they stand at the top of the mountain today.
I think Mike Tirico said it so beautifully yesterday that there's a whole generation of kids watching, and yesterday gave them a reason to believe that, yeah, this could happen. We could do it. Yesterday's result was a big step in the U.S. becoming part of the permanent hockey conversation. But there was a quote from Nathan MacKinnon, the Canadian star, that we want to bring up here after the match. He said, "You be the judge of who was the better team today," end quote. Now, we could call that sour grapes, or we could call that just an honest assessment. As someone who did play for Team Canada and won a gold in 2014, your reaction to McKinnon's comments and the assumption that, yeah, Canada did outplay the United States yesterday?
Well, the better team might have been Canada, but the winning team was the USA. And the reality is that's all that matters. To me, whether it's 3-on-3 or 5-on-3, everybody had opportunities during that game to have their moment, and the USA took the opportunity when they had to. I said this earlier on SportsCenter a few days ago. It's not going to be about the scoreboard and who gets up and who gets down. It's going to be about the final score. And that's what this was all about. The final score had to go in USA's way for this rivalry to really take off. And they took it and they did it. So for me, I'm not going to get into too much about the quotes on what they think about the tournament. The reality is there's a winner and there's a loser. Canada has to regroup. If they want to be back at the top of the mountain, USA's there and they've earned it. Give them that. They've earned it, they've earned it, and they've earned it. They earned it with rolling 4 lines all tournament. They earned it by guys buying in to Mike Sullivan and his team system, trusting the process, knowing that come that last game, you see Slovakia game when Jack Hughes gets 2 goals, the guys are celebrating like they already won because they knew if they had Jack Hughes playing that way on their 4th line and Zach Werenski, who's not Quinn Hughes, who were on the ice for that final goal, they'd have enough juice to create a special moment. And they created that moment. It was a team victory all around. It was a program win all around on the U.S. women's side and the men's side. So Team USA and USA Hockey is definitely here.
PK, one thought for me as I look at the bloody mouth, I look at obviously Gaudreau's jersey. When you think back on this Olympic ride, whether it be the Sweden win or the Slovakia blowout or then what happened against Canada, what's the one lasting image you'll have from the 2026 U.S. Olympic hockey team?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? Just like you said, brotherhood. I really believe that because, I have a personal connection to Jack Hughes, played with him as a rookie, got to know his family, his parents. I know what they've invested in him and their kids. I know what they've invested in that U.S. program, both with their kids and actually with themselves. I know that Mama Hughes was around in the village helping out the U.S. women's hockey team. I know that Papa Hughes has worked in the NHL and has worked in hockey. The Kachuk brothers, we know that they've played, their father played, Eichel and his relationship with them, the Fitzgeralds. It's a family affair there. So that's what I'm thinking about when I see USA Hockey. And I don't know if I've ever seen them that way before. It just seems like such a close group. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? If you're an American and you love the game of hockey and you have a dream to play in the NHL and you love your country, why wouldn't you want to represent USA Hockey and be a part of their hockey program? My goodness. On both sides, they've done a phenomenal job, and the players are saying the right things. It just looks like family. So, that's the image I'm going to have, and it's going to live for a long time because we're going to see things to come for generations that are always going to bring us back to that game on Sunday.
I think of guys like Patrick Kane and Mike Modano and Chris Chelios and all the USA legends. None of them have won a gold medal. This crew has.